Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from the weird out. I have no idea how to pronounce that name, so I'm terribly sorry. And I probably should, because I've getting replays from you for a while, I suppose. Anyway, I'm just gonna call him D. And he's in the Scharnhorst. Now this is a ranked battle, the map is Ring. It's 3-point domination, and there is just one destroyer per team. Now he's made his way over to the A cap, but the team isn't very supportive around here. We do have a Dunkirk that decided the best course of action if you're outnumbered is to just push in. Now our Scharnhorst here was a little bit beached here when he started the replay. The reason was that he dodged torps, so he made his way towards A. He realized he was spotted, so he's sold some emergency cover. That worked quite well. And that destroyer obviously was the culprit. Now the Dunkirk has figured out that he has pushed into a situation where he can't escape. He has a Heinrich in front of him that has torpedoes and is a good brawler and is pushing in. He has a destroyer with torps behind him. And there are still a New Mexico and Atlanta around. Meanwhile, our Scharnhorst here has wisely decided that this is a little bit too much. Now he wants to stay around here and help, especially if the Heinrich pushes in, but obviously he knows the importance of not just throwing ship away. Meanwhile, we have an Atlanta in, well, hopefully a safe position where it can use its radar and possibly hydro there to contest this cap. The battleships might be sailing in a position to use that spotting, so there is that. And the Buki is staying wisely away from the radar. Now, in a move that shocks absolutely no one, this Dunkirk is being overrun. Now the Heinrich just has used his torpedoes, well, at least on this side, which gives sort of a bit of an opportunity, but obviously the Heinrich is well aware of that and is turning away. Now charging after the Heinrich is probably a bad idea, because once again the destroyer is still around, the New Mexico is backing it up. So he here has decided to, well, disengage a little bit. The torps are not looking too bad, but they're probably gonna run out because, oh, will they? Yeah, they will. So anyway, also of course, you know, Heinrich has hydro, which means not sure if the torps would have hit or if he could have found a nice gap there. Now it looks like the Heinrich might be escaping, which is a little bit of a shame. Meanwhile, the friendly team has actually taken out 2 battleships, so it's not looking too bad on that front. They just don't have a captain. But with the Atlanta in retreat, maybe this Fubuki can go in and grab a cap. Now the friendly Atlanta has already taken a beating, but it's, I think, in a relatively safe position. Now what D here has realized is that with the Heinrich in retreat, and the destroyer and the Atlanta having left, this New Mexico is suddenly all alone. Well, it's a New Mexico, it's not gonna be very fast, it's also... Oh crap, there are torps. Well, it's gonna hurt. There is also a Fiji. So the Fiji is smoking up, but there is one lovely citadel there. Now he's in concealment again. There is another salvo of the Fiji. He can get off one shot and then go behind the island. So the plan is still the same. Go after the New Mexico that's all alone. Now we have confirmation that the Heinrich has really left. I mean, the Heinrich was pretty low, but obviously battleships have heals. Ship-wise, it's still equal, but you know, points-wise, not so much. Now, the New Mexico really doesn't have many ways to retreat here. We'll see if it's still sitting like this or if it's decided to follow its team after the B camp. But Scharnhorst versus New Mexico shouldn't be much of a contest in torpedo range. So after New Mexico is dealt with, D can probably cap A. And hopefully we just lost if Buki, that's a shame. So yeah, then New Mexico isn't even like looking this way. And it's a very... No, don't talk... that was a bit early with the torps, right? So it's not like the New Mexico has the best turret traverse. So getting its guns turned this way is going to take a while. So could have just continued more this way and torped with a better angle and ensured that all 3 torpedoes hit. Now this is a bit of a dangerous turn. Now obviously D wants to use his torps on the other side, but if the New Mexico can accelerate enough, this is a bit of a risky move, but it turns out it works. So I think I would have just continued past the New Mexico and hoped it with a better angle there. Obviously the advantage of this maneuver is that he's now facing towards the B cap, where he definitely wants to go. And there is a rather defenseless Fiji that, well, refuses to sink so far. But maybe this time? Well, okay, somebody else got it. Now, ship-wise, this is rapidly escalating. There are barely any ships alive for both teams. And the enemy still has a destroyer. Now, the Heinrich that escaped earlier is not the healthiest. But it's still a threat. It has good secondaries, it has a hydro, and it does have those torpedoes. So, he's trying to... Well, I mean, the problem, of course, is that the Scharnhorst's nose can be overmatched, which means going completely nose in against the Heinrich isn't gonna be that helpful. So yeah, I would stay at an angle like this where you can use your secondaries better and maybe even all of your guns. Of course, I mean, the Scharnhorst is a sleek ship. That means, you know, if you're completely nose in, you provide a smaller target. But you are getting pummeled by a lot of those guns and secondaries, and as I said, like, being nose in isn't necessarily anti-defense. I think the Scharnhorst has a bit of an icebreaker, but it's not the biggest, if I remember correctly. And generally speaking, the nose is a bit of a weak spot for a lot of tier 7 battleships. So... I mean, the Heinrich would have the same problem, but the Scharnhorst's guns are too small to use that. Thankfully, the Heinrich isn't that well angled. So this is getting close. The destroyer is also landing its gun to that FN. And that Heinrich just refuses to sink. Oh, come on, Heinrich. Here you go. Now there might still be torpedoes in the water. Of course, there is the usual fire at the end. The damage comes on cooldown, and this is gonna be a bit of a problem. Now we still have a King George alive. How healthy is the King George? Oh, that's... The biggest problem right now is the enemy team has a points lead and a destroyer. I mean, the good news are that the George is taking 1 cap, which will help the friendlies. Majority of them. Yeah, don't use widespread. There is basically 0 reason to ever use widespread in Scharnhorst. If you're using widespread, you hopefully misclick. Anyway, well, I mean, let's see what the enemy destroyer does, because oh wait, he's not staying concealment. Now, of course, our Scharnhorst is at 2000 hit points, which means concealment. Like, the enemy destroyer might have gone a little bit too aggressive here, but with 2000 hit points, he can actually do this with guns. Oh yeah, that's bad. Oh, here's the heal. Well, sorry, dear destroyer, but there was a heal, and those torps have failed. So, no, don't use widespread. It's never a good idea. Not that I expected destroyer to be sunk by torpedoes anyway. So I switched to high explosive, and yeah, see, the thing is, the enemy destroyer might have thought he can sink the Scharnhorst with guns, so he doesn't need to be far away. But in the end, he just overcommitted, got too close, now he can't escape, and now the friendlies are gonna win. So... And that brings us to the results. He earned himself 2000 base experience and got 3 kills, so nicely done. And that was somewhat close victory. I mean, the King George was still pretty healthy, but honestly, if the destroyer wouldn't have been defeated there, it could have stealth-topped and possibly turned this around, especially since they still had a nice points lead. But be that as it may, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I'll see ya next time.